Hogs and John Riggins just can't seem to make the big play. For Riggins' heir, George Rogers, it's been frustrating too. The Redskins haven't been the same since last year's playoff loss to guess who? In that game, the intimidating Bears defense rocked Theisman with 7 sacks and rolled over the Redskins, all without starting quarterback Jim McMahon. The victory meant credibility, a coming of age for the Bears under young head coach Mike Ditka. This year, McMahon is back, and last Thursday, like Clark Kent, he stripped to his Superman suit and fired 3 touchdown passes in the second half to beat Minnesota. Can he do it again today? Can the Redskins avenge their playoff defeat? The answer and the rematch coming up. At Soldier Field, the Redskins and the Bears knock heads.
Against the Chicago Bears.
Live from Soldier Field alongside Lake Michigan, it is an idyllic early autumn afternoon for a game between the Redskins and the Bears, 66 degrees, winds from the south at 10 miles per hour. It is perfect. Hello, everybody. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field. And Johnny, we have one of the 2 unbeaten teams in the NFL, the Bears along with the Rams at 3-0. The Redskins struggling at 1-2, a surprise to their fans.
That's right. I was talking to Joe Gibbs yesterday. He said the last team he would choose to play with their situation now would be the Chicago Bears, who are 3-0. They now have offense to go along with their defense. They beat the Redskins in the playoffs last year, and the game has to be played at Soldier Field. So things do not look good for the Washington Redskins, but we're expecting a great football game. There's a lot of electricity here, and I think we're about ready for the kickoff, Tim.
Johnny, the Bears have won the toss, and they will receive. They'll defend to our left in their dark home jerseys. Jeff Hayes, who is also the punter, handles the kickoff duties for the Redskins. Number 5 will kick it off. The deep men for the Bears, Dennis Gentry, number 29, at the top of your screen, and speedster Willie Gault, number 83. Awaiting Hayes' kickoff at the goal line. So the Redskins trying to get well here, well in the standings, that is, with a turnaround from their start that could well have been an 0-3 start, with a squeaky win over Houston. And a reverse right away to Wilbur Marshall from Willie Gault, and he is tripped up at the 15-yard line, so a little trickery by the Bears on the opening play of the game, but Stuart Anderson and Rafael Cherry are down there to prevent it from making a big gain. The Bears will bring out offensively their miracle worker of Thursday night last, Jim McMahon at quarterback, Walter Payton and Matt Suhey, the running backs, Willie Gault, Dennis McKinnon coming into his own at wide receiver. Andy Frederick will start for the injured Jimbo Covert at left tackle, Bortz Hilgenberg, Tom Thayer for the injured Kurt Becker at right guard, Van Horn and Henry Moorhead. So 2 key performers for the Bears offensive line out of action, at least for the start of this game. First down, just inside Chicago's 15-yard line. Suhey in motion. Pass was tipped by the linebacker, number 55, Kaufman, and intended for the wide receiver, Dennis McKinnon, on first down. So it is 2nd and 10 for Chicago.
So we're seeing the pattern right away. The Chicago Bears have really changed their offense. They're throwing more on first down as we look at the Redskins' defensive line.
A 4-man defensive line for the Redskins, like the Bears. Not too many teams in the league still using it. Mann, Butts, Grant, and Manley. Kaufman and Olkowitz and Millot are the linebackers. And the secondary, the speedy Darrell Green, Vernon Dean on the corners. Tony Peters and Curtis Jordan are the safeties. 2nd and 10, Chicago. They fake the pass, and they give to Payton. Payton in trouble, and McMahon threw a block on Darrell Grant, but Payton will still be dropped for a loss as the Redskins make another outstanding defensive play. Charles Mann made the tackle, and a loss of 2 results, so it is 3rd and 12.
You know, the Washington Redskins defense hasn't really played all that badly so far, even though they are 1-2. They rate statistically very well in the NFC, but the big thing is they haven't created the turnovers. As you know, Tim, they only have 1 interception and a total of 2 turnovers, so they're really -10 in that category, and they've always been great at turnovers.
Been a severe problem for them and a factor in their losing 2 of their first 3. 3rd and 12 for the Bears. A flag down. Rolling is McMahon. Upfield, a wobbly pass out of bounds. The intended receiver, Ken Marjoram, well covered, fell down out near the 40-yard line, but the pass was nowhere near him. So the Redskins stifle the Bears offense, but a flag on that third down play. Offside is the preliminary signal against Washington. Bob Frederick, our referee, with his first call of the afternoon.
Defense, offside, number 32. Third down will be replayed.
Vernon Dean, the right corner, coming up to blitz on the play, was offside. So the Bears get another breath. It is third down. And about 7 to go. The ball is at the 17-yard line. The Redskins have not run into penalty problems. Turnovers, as we have mentioned, have been their severe deficiency in the first 3 games. Cherry and Wilburn, the rookies, are in the backfield of the secondary of the Washington Redskins. 3 wide receivers for the Bears out of the shotgun. McMahon has time. Upfield for Marjoram. Can't hold on. A diving attempt by Ken Marjoram, number 82. Darrell Green had the coverage, but Marjoram could not hold on to the football, so the Bears will punt.
Well, that's what he's noted for, his great catches. He actually had the ball, but when he hit the turf, it bounced loose. As Jim McMahon noticed how thick he looks in the waist. That's not overweight, fans. That is the fact that he wears that heavy rib cage protector because he had that kidney injury last year. He also has the neck injury and has been banged around in his short NFL career.
Ken Jenkins awaiting the punt of Maury Buford. Buford, number 8 for the Bears, standing at the 4-yard line of Chicago. Jenkins, a former Detroit Lion, at the 45 of the Washington Redskins. Buford's wobbly punt comes up short. And Jenkins will let it bounce. It takes a Chicago bounce and rolls to the 41-yard line of the Redskins. So Washington will get their first offensive possession, a 42-yard punt by Buford. Joe Theisman will bring the Redskins out. John Riggins will start at the running back spot. The receivers are Monk and Muhammad. The tight ends Warren and Didier. And across the front, Joe Jacoby, Russ Grimm, Rick Donnelly for the injured Jeff Bostic still in that role. R.C. Thielman gets the start today ahead of Ken Huff alongside Mark May. Thielman acquired from the Atlanta Falcons in the somewhat controversial deal for receiver Charlie Brown, making his first start today. First down, Redskins. Good field position. Out of the eye. Riggins met at the line, breaks the tackle, and carries Bears for a 6-yard pickup. Wilbur Marshall finally wrestled him down. And there is a sample of the strength of John Riggins. Defensively, the 4-man front for the Bears, Hartenstein, McMichael, Hampton, and Dent. Hampton coming off knee surgery and feels that he's almost there, but they still don't practice him every day in practice during the week. Wilson, Singletary, and Wilbur Marshall with Richardson and Frazier on the corner. Sean Gale for the injured Dave Duerson with Gary Fencik at safety. Riggins again on 2nd and 5, picked up about 2. Richard Dent, number 95, tripped him up. So the Bears hurting a little bit. We gave you 2 offensive substitutions for them, and Sean Gale for the injured Dave Duerson defensively. The Redskins are without linebacker Monty Coleman, a key figure in their nickel defense particularly. He's on injured reserve with a hamstring pull. And, of course, Ken Coffey and Jeff Bostic are still out with injury.
And the refrigerator man, 320-pound William Perry's in that defensive line now for the Bears. Let's see what the Redskins do on this third situation.
Quick pass is complete to the tight end Didier, and he has the first down for Washington. Gary Fencik made the tackle at the Bear 45-yard line. An 8-yard gain and a first down.
Good heads-up play by Theisman because the Bears came with the blitz. Singletary up the middle. Theisman with the quick pass out to Didier. Gary Fencik had to come over from his safety spot to make the tackle. A first down for the Redskins, who obviously are going to try and control this game on the ground, try and develop, even though they have rushed very well, or pretty well this year. They haven't come up with the big plays, but they're going to try and control the ball.
First down at the Bear 45, opening offensive possession for Washington. Riggins again, good hole, and he's met by the linebackers at the 42-yard line of the Bears. Cliff Thrift, number 52, acquired this year on waivers from the San Diego Chargers by the Bears, and Buddy Ryan, the defensive coordinator, likes what he's seen and has worked him into the defense. And that defense today includes 4 linebackers in some situations, as we just saw there. A little bit of a change for the Bears defensively. Joe Theisman, 30,000 career passing yards in his 12th season in the NFL and making his 64th consecutive start. Riggins barrels for the first down. John Riggins with a big hole out the right side behind Thielman and May. Singletary and Fencik for the Bears. 50 and 45 made the tackle.
Good heads-up running by Riggins, number 44, as Otis Wilson, 55, blitzed from the outside. Riggins came inside the trap. The trap went on the linebacker, and Riggins just muscled his way through. He told Coach Gibbs this week he wants to play a little bit more. As you know, he's been splitting the duty with George Rogers, and Riggins there with a nice individual effort. He's over 10,000 yards rushing, 5th on the all-time list. And let me tell you something. When you're 36 years old, running in the National Football League still, you got to be some kind of runner.
And he's off to a good start, averaging 4 yards a carry. Singletary injured on the play. We'll be back in a moment. A scoreless football game at Chicago. Ryan with Johnny Morris at Soldier Field. You're looking at Mike Singletary, one of the top linebackers in football, injured on the last play, replaced by second-year man Ron Rivera. And the Bears continue to go with 4 linebackers. They have 4 down linemen. They've also made a change there with McMichael playing on the left defensive end and William Perry, the rookie from Clemson, at the right tackle spot with Hartenstein out. So quite a few shuffles here by the Bears defensively. The Redskins offensively have the football, and rolling out to his right is Theisman. He is dropped just over the line of scrimmage by Richard Dent. And that might have been a broken play. It looked like there was a little hesitation at the start here.
And watch 95, Richard Dent. He comes from the other side of the line here, just comes right down the line, and he takes a shot at Joe Theisman as there was a little bit of a mix-up. Theisman senses him coming and dips under just before the hit. And that's one thing that Joe Theisman is so good at. He's so good at many things, but he knows how to avoid that big hit.
No gain on the play, however. 2nd and 10. You actually saw John Riggins throw a block. Singletary is back in for the Bears. Here's Riggins, the runner. Non-Pere for his size and age. He gets to the 31-yard line. Steve McMichael, number 76, and Gary Fencik, number 45, combined on the big man.
And did you see who hit him? William Perry, 320 pounds, hit Riggins, and Riggins bounced off it and got an extra 2 or 3 yards. So I'd say Riggins still has a little power. There he is, the refrigerator man.
3rd down play for the Redskins, and they send in Keith Griffin and a 3rd receiver, Gary Clark. Clark 84, Griffin the running back, number 35. Clark in motion. Up the middle, wide open, the tight end. That's Didier for another Washington first down to the 21-yard line with Fencik making a tackle for Chicago. Clint Didier, the former pass-catching mate of Neil Lomax at Portland State.
And the key here was the man in motion. Gary Clark went outside. Didier waited for him to clear outside, and then Didier came up over the middle, and it was Gary Fencik, 45, who had to make the tackle. Clint Didier, who catches a touchdown almost every 4 catches, so we'd have to say he's a clutch receiver. Good speed for basically a tight end.
First down, Washington threatening here in the first period. 8:30 to play. Their first offensive possession. Good protection for Theisman in the corner, and it is incomplete. Intended for Kelvin Muhammad, number 89, right at the goal line. On the coverage was Mike Richardson, number 27. Theisman 2 out of 3 passing, and this one was nearly perfect. One-on-one,
he just put it up and let the 2 guys go after it, and Muhammad almost made a circus catch here. He's got the outside position on Richardson, came down. I don't think he would have had both feet in it had he hung on to the ball. So the Redskins still on the move.
It was a long afternoon for Muhammad last week.
Oh,
he did not catch a pass. He had a couple of drops. He ran a couple of long routes. Believe me, he wants to have a big day today. Riggins over the 20-yard line to the 19. Gained about 2 yards. It'll leave 3rd and 8 for the Redskins.
And you know, they're not always using the one back. That time they have Warren in the backfield. As you look at Joe Gibbs, who is a little bit frustrated, but he says, we're not going to change everything just because we're starting off 1 and 2. He said, we started off 0-2 last year. We had 0-5 one year. He says, we've just been analyzing it, and we're going with Joe Theisman. He's passed for over 30,000 yards. He's done a lot of great things for us, and he says, we'll get it all together.
Theisman brings him out on 3rd and 9. Griffin is the running back, and Dan Hampton, a little wild anticipation, leaped into the Washington backfield. And as far as we could see, was not drawn over. Let's wait for the call. Referee Bob Frederick discussing it with his officials. Was there movement on the part of a Redskin?
Encroachment on the defense, number 99. Third down.
There was not.
Well, you had to figure that was the call because nobody else came across or moved at all except Hampton. And boy, he was the first one back there, wasn't he?
There was an inviting hole for him there. He was going to make sure he got into it. So it is third down and about 4 yards, a long 3. Keys has come in on the front, number 98. Gale and Phillips have come into the Bears secondary, 23 and 48. Theisman to pass. Has time. Complete. Good catch in traffic with the coverage by Phillips. And another Redskin first down. They're at the 7-yard line. It was Gary Clark, the rookie from the USFL out of James Madison.
Good pass protection for Theisman, who waited for Clark to come right across the middle. He only had a step on Phillips, but Theisman put it right there for the first down. Key play by Joe Theisman, who, as you know, is off to his slowest start. He's only completed 49% of his passes, but boy, he was all confidence yesterday. It's hard to knock Joe Theisman's confidence.
First and goal, Washington, their opening offensive possession. Riggins stacked up and dropped for a loss. He might have got over the line of scrimmage with forward progress. Singletary and Hampton putting the stop on Big John Riggins. And they spotted at the 7-yard line. It'll be second and goal. And there is Mike Ditka, who can harken back to the victory a year ago over Washington, but also knowing that the next week he was beaten by San Francisco. The goal is the Super Bowl for both of these coaches. And this is the rematch of that playoff game last year. Riggins with a big hole, touchdown. John Riggins had all kinds of room to ramble out the right side. Over the right tackle position, Mark May. Thielman, number 69, the left guard.
In fact, he had a personal convoy there. As you can see, the block trap outside, and he just followed his blockers in there. And you can see number 68, Russ Grimm, with the key block on Fencik, and Riggins goes in for the touchdown. You talk about the way the Hogs play. Well, that's the way they play. They block and they run, and Riggins motors behind them.
The point after by Mark Mosley is good, and so the Redskins march down the field starting from their own 41-yard line and have taken a 7-0 lead.
Okay, you talk about offensive line blocking from the offside. This is Grimm and Jacoby right here, both pulling from the left to the right through a gaping hole. Good block by Didier to keep Otis Wilson out of there, and then Riggins just follows through, and it was a huge, huge hole. Watch it. 68 and 66, the good block there by Didier, and in they go, 2 blocks, Jacoby and Grimm, and it was a touchdown. That's the way the Redskins do it.
All right, and Willie Gault had trouble in the sun with that ball coming down. It went through the end zone, probably would not have brought it out anyway. Jeff Hayes' kickoff, landing about 2 yards deep, and Gault looking up, clearly lost it in the sun. So the Bears will start for their second offensive possession from the 20-yard line. The Redskins going 59 yards in 13 plays, an impressive opening drive, using up 7:24 on the clock. Now the Bears have had quite a string of games in which they have had the possession. 27 consecutive games they have had the ball more than their opponent. But the Redskins have chipped away a good chunk here in the first period. 6 minutes remaining first quarter. Payton, the lone setback, now Suhey in motion. Payton gets away from one tackler, but is dropped for a loss. And it was Darrell Green coming up from the corner to make the tackle. The pressure came from Butts and Manley on the initial charge by Payton straight ahead. So the fired up Redskins, now the defense doing the job.
Yes, it was really Dexter Manley, number 72, who got across and forced Payton to go wide. And Manley's the man who spoke a little bit out there earlier this week about knocking Payton out of the game. He got a lot of flack from that, and the Chicago Bears have kind of jumped on that as their psychological advantage.
Loss of a yard on the play, 2nd and 11. Great drop from McMahon. Intended for Suhey, incomplete, and it's intercepted rather by Curtis Jordan. Jordan brings it back. Jordan, flag down, got to the 25-yard line. And Suhey in a lot of traffic there, Johnny, as McMahon let it fly, and Curtis Jordan just had a freebie. He just waited for the ball to come down to him.
That's right. He was playing in deep center field, and that penalty is going to be after the change of possession. and it's going to be Washington's ball. Curtis Jordan just played way out in center field, and I think the mistake here that Jim McMahon made was watching his receiver all the way.
Personal foul, clip on the return, number 75, and it will be a first down and 10.
We'll see it again.
Now you can watch Curtis Jordan. He's dropping way back. See, McMahon is watching Matt Suhey all the way. His head is looking straight down the middle of the field, and Suhey runs right into all the coverage. Look at all those Redskins, and Curtis Jordan had a gimme, and he took it back. Washington has the ball and a chance to go up by 2 touchdowns, and that's a key for the Redskins. They are a much better football team, wouldn't you agree, Tim, when they're ahead, when they can get on top of you. They're not as good from coming from behind. Curtis Jordan's second interception of the season for the team, his first of the year.
Well, the way their defense has stopped the Bears, I would agree with you totally if they can continue that. Riggins on first down, picked up about a yard, tripped up by Singletary. Jordan's 18-yard return of the interception nullified by the clipping penalty against Dave Butts, but nonetheless the possession in Bears territory at the 42. No gain on that play, as we see Jim McMahon got to be talking to himself about why he released that ball into a bevy of Redskins. And the opportunity for Curtis Jordan to come up with the pickoff. Second and 10. See whether that information holds up on this series. What a catch by Monk. He dropped the ball, and it is ruled incomplete. Marshall picked it up. The crowd here thinking that it should have been a reception and a fumble recovery by Wilbur Marshall. Leslie Frazier put the hit on Art Monk, and it is ruled incomplete. A circus try by Monk. Had the ball in the air, but didn't have it when he came down to the ground. And an injured player for the Redskins is number 69, R.C. Thielman.
Okay, and that is the key as to whether Monk, as you'll notice, Theisman kind of throws into the coverage. A linebacker almost hits it. He makes a super grab, and then there's the contact. And when he comes down, boom, the ball is jolted loose. I'd have to say that it's a correct call by the officials.
4:26 remaining first period. The Redskins 7, the Bears nothing. There's R.C. Thielman, the former Pro Bowler acquired from the Atlanta Falcons, off with an injury. Ken Huff has come in to replace him. 3rd and 10. Theisman under pressure. Finds some room and hits his man. It'll be close to the first down. That is Gary Clark, the rookie wide receiver, number 84. See where they mark it.
The Bears went with a normal 4-man rush that time, and that allows Theisman, he can a little time to survey the situation, runs out of the pocket, could have run up the field, but decided that Clark was deep enough that he thought he had the first down, but he's not quite there. It's going to be 4th and short as Leslie Frazier knocks Clark out of bounds. So here it comes, 4th and 1 at the 33-yard line.
Perry and Quick and Rivera have all come in defensively for the Bears on 4th and short. Progress may have them there. The crowd aroused on the hit by Marshall and Richardson, but will wait for the mark.
It's going to be very, very close. Riggins saw things jammed up and dipped to the outside. There were no blockers there. It was a case of 2 bodies against 1, and it's going to be very, very close.
Riggins has been bothered with a sore back and the flu and so on, and they are stopped short, it would appear, by just a few inches. So the Bears defense has held the Redskins. 4:12 to play, first period. It'll be Bears football when we return. They trail 7-0. A lift for the Bears offense from this group. The Bears defensive squad that just stopped Washington, 4th and short at Chicago's 32-yard line. First down, Bears. They trail 7-0. Payton and Suhey are the running backs. A long count. Straight ahead is Matt Suhey, picking up about 2. The center of that defensive front of Washington converging on the play. At the bottom of the stack, Dexter Manley, number 72. It'll be 2nd and about 8.
We have a full house here at Soldier Field, about 65,000 fans. The Bears' 9th straight sellout, but that pales in comparison to Washington. I think Washington has 143 straight sellouts. That's what you call support of your football team.
2nd down and 8. And they shift to the I formation. Gault out to the right, McKinnon to the left. They fake the pitch. Inside is Suhey. Suhey is straightened up by linebacker Rich Millot, number 57. And a little extracurricular activity involving Keith Van Horn of the Bears and Darrell Green of the Redskins. Slight physical mismatch. The officials are there quickly to break that up.
Actually, it was Dennis McKinnon and Darrell Green that kind of got into it, and then Keith Van Horn tried to be the peacemaker.
And New England in front of the Raiders 10-7 in the first period of their game. Kansas City shutting out Seattle 14-0. Interesting score, first period. And the Vikings in front of Buffalo 7-0. Tampa Bay in front of Detroit 3-0. Third down, a long 4 for the Bears out of the shotgun, and they give it to Payton. Payton looked like he might throw. Now he's in traffic and will be short of the first down. Walter Payton had receivers downfield, and by the time that he decided to run with it, the Redskins reacted very well defensively. Curtis Jordan, number 22, putting the tackle on Payton, and Chicago will have to punt again.
You hit it right on the head, Tim, because it was the fake of the old Statue of Liberty. Payton was going to throw the ball to Kenny Marjoram down the field. Right there he was going to throw, and he saw that Marjoram was covered well by Wilbur, and then a whole bunch of Washington Redskins came in to put Payton down. The Bears punt.
Maury Buford standing at his 25. The Redskins thus far seem to be very well prepared for the Bears offense that has been shown, including 2 or 3 of the little trick type plays. Buford the punt. The deep man is Gary Clark. Signals fair catch at the 24-yard line of the Redskins. 38-yard punt by Buford, former San Diego Charger. And so the Redskins will have a pretty good field position to start. And I spent Thursday afternoon at the Redskins practice, Johnny, and everybody seemed to be looking for clues as to the mood, the attitude of the Redskins, struggling to a 1-2 start. They could have lost the game to Houston and been 0-3. They didn't play well in that game that they won. But really, there was an air of calm and confidence, and I think that's been exhibited here in the first quarter this afternoon. And anybody that was worried about Joe Theisman should be relieved. He threw the ball in practice as well as anybody can. Rogers in the lineup now. Out to Didier. Didier is tackled immediately by Sean Gale, number 23, but a gain of maybe 6 yards on the play for the Redskins. Theisman has been sharp in the opening going here.
With George Rogers in there, it was a simple play action, just a little handoff to kind of freeze people for a moment. Didier out there with Sean Gale on the coverage, just a simple stop like a hitch pass, and they get 5 yards, about 4 yards, 5 yards out of it, and the Redskins will always take that on first down if they can get it.
Second and a long 4 for the Redskins. Ken Huff continues at right guard for Thielman. This is Rogers, big hole out the right side. Rogers all the way to the 40-yard line. They'll spot it at the 43 of the Bears, pushed out by Wilbur Marshall. And George Rogers, a 31-yard gain with a lot of running room out the right side.
And almost the same identical play. Watch the off lineman pull around, and the hole was so big, they sealed here, and Riggins just said, oh, God, big hole. I mean, I should say Rogers, and went to the outside. Beautiful offside line play. Russ Grimm and Joe Jacoby, 66 and 68 all around. They throw the key block, take Otis Wilson out of the play, and then Rogers takes it up the sidelines as the Redskins on the move again.
Well, this is something the Redskins have not been doing, even in Joe Gibbs' own words, making the big play. That was one there, and here's another. Rogers over the 30, gets by a tackler. Pulled down at the 15-yard line of Chicago by Sean Gale. 2 consecutive big runs for George Rogers. First down, Redskins, and an injured Bear player back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, basically what they did again was the same thing. Here comes Jacoby and Grimm. It was a counter play where Rogers jabbed, he stepped to the left. Otis Wilson was blocked, and Rogers, and Gary Fencik doesn't miss many tackles, but he did there as Rogers just kind of gave him the double footwork and went right on down the field. The Redskins on the move, whether it be Riggins or Rogers.
The first down will be at the 14-yard line. There are Rogers' numbers for this season, averaging 5.1. He and Riggins have had about equal time carrying the ball. Joe Gibbs told us that he would start Riggins, and then he would go with what he called the hot man, the hot hand. And right now, he's going to have to stick with Riggins with the Rogers for a while. Here is Otis Wilson, the injured Bear player, on that last play, being assisted off, but he looks like he's okay.
He's the man that's been coming across the line of scrimmage and taking the brunt of all those linemen coming his way. And I think the real key for the Redskins has been the counter, the jab step. That's always been in their repertoire, but it seems to be working particularly well against the Bears, who are aggressive on defense, and they'll charge with that first move. And if you get them charging half a step one way or just to hesitate, you know, that can really set up. And they have set up the same play 3 or 4 times.
Rivera has come in for Wilson, and they now have that 4 linebacker alignment that Buddy Ryan, their defensive coordinator, introduced this week in practice. Flip Thrift with Singletary, Rivera, and Wilbur Marshall. The Redskins have an impressive record when they get out in front. The point you made earlier, Johnny, about they're harder to beat when you're coming from behind against them. They protect the lead well, and they have an opportunity again here. Rogers one more time. This time, Dan Hampton slashes through and drops him for a loss of about 6 yards. They'll spot it at the 19-yard line. We'll call it a 5-yard loss.
Okay, now what you have to watch here is Dan Hampton. He said he wasn't going to go for that counter, and he was going to come across the line of scrimmage and follow these linemen when they go this way so that he could get in the play. Now watch what he does. He's actually the man to the left there. Here he comes, 99. Comes through, decides to go where the pulling linemen go, and number 99, Dan Hampton, on the tackle.
It is 2nd and 14. Play action. The pass complete to Art Monk. Got maybe 4 yards back to the initial line of scrimmage. On the coverage, Mike Richardson, who put the hit on him immediately, number 27. Monk had a big day last week against the Eagles in the losing cause with 7 catches, and he's off to another fine start. Here's a man who broke my partner's heart last year as we come to the end of the quarter, as he broke the record Johnny Morris held for the NFC in receptions for a season. The new NFL leader at 106 for a season, Art Monk. We'll be right back. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Redskins are threatening again. 3rd down and 10 at the Bears' 14. Quick pass to the corner. Incomplete. Intended for Calvin Muhammad. Thrown a little high. The coverage was good by Frazier. And Theisman appeared to lob it up a little higher to give Muhammad some kind of chance at it, but he really didn't have much of an opportunity.
The Bears went into their famed 46 defense, which is named after a former player, Doug Plank, who was number 46. But with an odd alignment, and they just blitz linebackers, and Joe Theisman, and everybody knows that when that happens, you got to get rid of the ball quick, and that's what he had called. So he had the right play call, but it was well covered.
So the field goal try by Mosley from the 22-yard line. Dead in front of the posts, and the Redskins extend their lead. A 32-yard field goal by the veteran Mark Mosley. We're just underway in the 2nd quarter. Washington 10, Chicago nothing. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field, where Mark Mosley's 32-yard field goal has extended the Redskins' lead 10-0 over the Chicago Bears. The Bears, Johnny, have 2 yards of offense to this point. They have been stymied by the Redskins defensively, plus the Redskins have used up the clock on 3 possessions. For Willie Gault.
They have just recently put Gault on the kickoff return because of his 9'3", 100-yard speed. It was Jeff Hayes, number 5, who got deked a little bit. He was the man that had a chance to get him there. And then Gault, with a little change of speeds, hesitations, he turns, cuts back, and once he gets in the open, nobody's going to catch him. He returned 5 for touchdowns when he was at Tennessee. Willie Gault provides a spark for the Chicago Bears.
The longest kickoff return ever at Soldier Field by a Bear player. The previous long was Ike Hill against Houston in 1973, 95 yards. Butler with the point after. And quickly, the Bears close the margin to 3. Working with 2 yards of total offense, they just got a kickoff return from Willie Gault. And suddenly the margin reduced to a field goal.
This is only his second or third game that he's done this since he got into the pros, and he faked towards the middle, then turned up, and it was Jeff Hayes, number 5. If he could have forced Gault to cut back into the inside, they would have been able to get him, but he missed the tackle, and then here comes another missed tackle as Gault just has got too much speed, too much quickness here, and takes off. And you talk about, what's that new show on CBS, Equalizer? That's an equalizer right there.
Well, certainly almost. That was a dramatic play by Willie Gault. The last time the Bears returned a kickoff for a touchdown was in 1980 when Dave Williams did it at Detroit, a 95-yarder.
That was in overtime, I think, and they won the football game.
Well, elsewhere around the NFL today, the Cowboys in front of Houston 7-0 in the second period. And the Raiders now lead New England 14-10. Mark Wilson to Dokie Williams, a touchdown pass. And Minnesota continues to lead Buffalo 7-0. Kansas City still in front of Seattle 14-0 in the second period. Tampa Bay and Detroit are now tied at 3 apiece in the second quarter. The Lions at 2-1. And Tampa Bay struggling somewhat again at 0-3. Ken Jenkins, a former Lion, waiting the kickoff, and a line drive shot from Butler, taking a yard deep. Jenkins will bring it up. Jenkins has got some running room, and he is hit by his opposite number, Taylor, at the 31-yard line, and gets to about the 35. Good field position, and again, a little extra pushing and shoving on the play. These are two fired-up football teams here today. No flags down, however, and so the Redskins, again, will have a good place to start from at their own 34.
Well, I think it was Dean Hamill on the special teams who went after Calvin Thomas, number 33.
Oh, there is a flag.
Number 78 on the white team, in fact that they pushed an official.
Wow. That's a definite no-no.
That's a no-no in the National Football League. Here comes, you'll be able to see Hamill. He's 78. He comes in at 33 at the left of your screen and puts the block on, and Calvin Thomas didn't like that, and he kept going. Now, he wasn't penalized for that. The official right there, that he was actually going after Calvin Thomas, and he kind of pushed the official away, and you don't do that. Those fragile people out there.
He might get community service or weekends in the county jail for that kind of an offense there. First down for the Redskins. But it is back now just inside their own 20-yard line. So the good return by Jenkins negated by the penalty to Hamill. And the Bears, Richard Dent came flying in with Wilson right behind him to put the stop on Rodgers, number 38.
And the key was Otis Wilson. He went over number 68, Russ Grimm. This time, Otis Wilson, 55. Now watch him leap over the block by Russ Grimm and make the tackle. Otis Wilson says he wasn't going to get blocked on that same play again, and that time he made a super play.
I miscalled that and gave that arm move there to Dent 95. It was Wilson 55. Second and 11. Rodgers again trying the left side. The Bears shut him down. Wilbur Marshall and Dan Hampton and Mike Singletary all involved in the stop, with Singletary at the bottom. You don't have to start Singletary's motor in the morning. He gets out of bed ready to play with a great fury.
And that is to play hard-nosed football. He didn't report to camp till very late because of a salary dispute, but he's back, and now the Redskins are in a situation they do not like against the Bears. 3rd and almost 10.
3 wide receivers with Keith Griffin for the Redskins.
Blitz.
Short drop by Theisman, buried by Tyrone Keys. Last year's #1 defense, currently #1 against the rush, but only 13th overall, showing some of last year's style.
They brought everybody but the kitchen sink. As Sean Gale, 23, took up 2 linemen, and Tyrone Keys was there. There were just not enough blockers to block all those Chicago Bears coming, but the Redskins got confused on their blocking, and that's what the Bears try and do, and Theisman had no chance to get the ball off. The Bears sacked him 7 times in that playoff game last year.
On Hayes is a bruised knee, which may have occurred on the Gault kickoff return.
I think that's exactly what happened when he tried to make the tackle on Willie Gault for the touchdown. He was injured, and Joe Theisman is in some trouble now.
So Chicago with an enormous opportunity. First down at the 15-yard line. Theisman forced to punt and hasn't punted. We're going to try to find out. It's been some time since he's had to punt. McMahon in difficulty. Gets the ball off. Touchdown. McKinnon.
This time, Jim McMahon, number 9, watch him feel the blitz from the outside, and he'll go forward in the pocket as Walter Payton on the left of your screen kicks Malott out, and then here comes McKinnon continuing his pattern, and McMahon right on the dime for the touchdown. He has been magic for Chicago.
First completion of the afternoon for McMahon. He is 1 for 4. Butler with a point after. And the Chicago Bears striking suddenly with a kickoff return by Gault, the miscue by the punter Theisman, and the Bears lead 14-10. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at an electric Soldier Field where the Bears have taken the lead 14-10, a 14-yard touchdown pass. McMahon to McKinnon. McMahon's first completion after a 1-yard punt by Joe Theisman. Butler's kickoff right back to the in line where Ken Jenkins, number 31, made the catch but did not think about bringing it out. So Washington will start first down from their own 20-yard line. Well, we have been able to determine that Theisman has never punted in the NFL. Of course, those of you who remember his college days at Notre Dame know that he was a punter there. He went up to Canada, played with the Toronto Argonauts, and did some punting there in the Canadian Football League. He is listed as their backup punter for Jeff Hayes because of his talent. But, however, I did not see him practice on Thursday. I don't know how often that he actually practices punting. And he'll wish now that he had done a little more of it. This is Rogers. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And with his forward progress and effort, perhaps a 2-yard gain. We'll see how they spot it. 230-pound Heisman Trophy winner George Rogers. The fans were ready for this game today, hoping that their Bears can go 4-0. The last time they did that, I think you were still playing, Johnny.
It's been a long time since I think 63 when they won the World Championship in 1963.
2nd and 9, Washington. Rogers again, out that right side where they've had some success. He picks up 3, maybe 4 yards. Wilson and Gale are there, and Mike Hartenstein with the initial contact, number 73. Coming up at halftime, Brandon Irv will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights, and Tom Brookshire will report on the NFL instant replay issue. Is the judgment call good enough? We'll get Tom's view on that, which I'm sure will be laced with some humor. That's coming up at halftime. Keith Griffin comes in, 3 wide receivers.
The Bears are into their 46 defense.
3rd down and 5, Washington. Theisman hit, the ball is loose. Recovered by the Bears, and it will be ruled a fumble. Hampton came up with the ball, and it was Richard Dent who got a hand on Theisman before he could raise his arm and get into forward motion, which may have resulted in an incompleted pass, but he did not get the arm going forward. Let's watch.
It will come from the left side of your screen. Wilbur Marshall, 58 blitzes, and you'll see Richard Dent is on the outside, way to the outside. Marshall gets blocked, but he gets from the outside, and does Theisman's arm go forward? It does not, as Richard Dent knocks the ball loose. Number 95, the Bears recover, and you talk about a game that has turned around in a moment's time.
And so the Bears find themselves again deep in Washington territory at the 22-yard line. First down out of the I formation. McMahon wants to throw to the corner for Gault. It is tipped away by Darrell Green, number 28, who had perfect coverage. A flag down on the play, downfield, away from the ball.
Darrell Green, who moves all over the field to cover Willie Gault. Wherever Willie Gault, number 83, goes, that's where Darrell Green, because he's the one guy who has the speed to run with Willie Gault. But there is a penalty.
Defensive holding, number 55. First down.
Mel Kaufman charged with defensive holding, evidently on one of the receivers downfield. Not Gault, but an off receiver.
They'll take the penalty, but Jim McMahon had to take some punishment along the way after he gets this pass off. Now watch as he fires for Gault, and here comes Darrell Grant, number 77, to put a hit on him.
Calvin Thomas in at fullback for the Bears, number 33. Out of the pro set. Give us to Payton, is to Thomas. Thomas gets to the 15-yard line, a pickup of about 3 yards. Calvin Thomas from Illinois in his 4th year, signed as a free agent in 1982. Backs up Matt Suhey at the fullback position. And the word on Hayes was a bruised knee, as we mentioned earlier, and that forced Theisman to punt. We'll find out whether Hayes is going to get back into the action. Theisman will be getting his punting practice during this game.
I don't think the Redskins will kick off to Willie Gault's side anymore either the rest of this game, do you?
Well, I rather doubt it. It is 2nd and 9. Bears in scoring position again. They flare it out to Thomas. He's got some room. Thomas gets to the 10-yard line, and Curtis Jordan, number 22, closed on him well, but not before Thomas got inside the 10. He'll be short of the first down by about a yard, a 6-yard pickup.
Well, obviously, this is a key defensive stand for the Redskins because, I mean, this game is still close at 14-7. And as I said, when again, there's Richie Pettibone, the defensive boss of the Washington Redskins, a former Chicago Bear who used to be lean and mean. He's not so lean and mean, but I'll tell you what, he knows football.
That's a former defensive back. 3rd down. He had about a yard and a half, it would appear. Big play for the Bears here. Let's keep this drive going, and it's out to the tight end. Moorhead, touchdown. Emory Moorhead, as they picked up the blitz well, and Walter Payton dove over to pick up the blitzer and enabled McMahon time to get the ball off.
Okay, McMahon is, Emory Moorhead is way over here at this side of the screen here, and you'll see the wide receiver come down and clear, and then he goes out and in, and the coverage was inside. There was a blitz here that the Bears picked up. Now take a close look.
And we'll see that play after the point after by Butler. So the Bears extend their lead, having turned 2 Washington miscues into scores.
Okay, fans, here was the blitz man, Tony Peters, as he comes through. McMahon had to get rid of the ball in a hurry, but you're going to see Moorhead go and outside, but the wide receiver was the key. McKinnon came across to clear the zone, and McMahon just hit Emory Moorhead out there. Let's take a look at it. Here comes Peters up the middle. He's tried to get a hold of McMahon. Walter Payton makes the block, and there's Moorhead to the outside, into the end zone. Coverage from the inside, no chance. Once they picked up the blitz and got Tony Peters with Walter Payton, McMahon was in great shape because they had a one-on-one situation on the short yardage.
The veteran tight end, Emory Moorhead, 9-year man from Colorado, making the catch for the score. 2 touchdown passes for McMahon, who is 3 of 7 now, with 2 touchdowns and an interception.
Because last week he threw 3 touchdown passes in 7 minutes time when he came in against the Minnesota Vikings.
9:19 remains here in the first half. Dallas continues to lead Houston 7-0. And the Patriots have gone ahead of the Raiders 19-14. Raiders trying to recover from last week's defeat to San Francisco. Minnesota has widened their lead over Buffalo 13-0. And St. Louis on the board against Green Bay 9-0. Randy Wright, the quarterback today for the Pack. Kansas City still in front of Seattle. And another bouncing kickoff fielded by Jenkins at the goal line. He'll bring it up. Ken Jenkins, a flag is down. Jenkins gets knocked forward over the 30. Another flag is down. 2 flags on this kickoff play. A 30-yard return for Ken Jenkins. Thomas Sanders, reserve rookie running back for Chicago, made the tackle.
And these penalties on the special teams are really important because instead of having field position, I'm assuming it's against Washington, it appears to be, at the 25 or 30-yard line, they got to go way back and start from the shadow of their own goal post, and that makes it tough.
We had an illegal block, number 92 on the kick return. And we had offensive holding on the kick return, number 58.
So it's like take your choice.
So the holding penalty on the return against the Redskins will back them up as we see the next Sunday. Our action includes the Niners at Atlanta. The Bears will be at Tampa Bay, Detroit at Green Bay, Minnesota at the Rams. A lot of key games in this early season action in the NFL. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. It all starts with the NFL today. And our spies back in New York have called down to the Golden Dome at Notre Dame to find out if Joe Theisman ever punted for the Fighting Irish, and the word came back, no. Dent, number 95, a thorn in the side of the Redskins in the playoff game a year ago, makes another big defensive play.
He got there almost as fast as the ball came. He comes from the right of your screen as the Redskins were going to try and counter back on his side. 95, Richard Dent made the hit, and then some more Chicago Bears came in to trap George Rogers, and the Redskins are back at their own 3-yard line.
It'll be second and nearly 17 yards, working from the shadow of the goal line. Joe Theisman. It's been a rocky start after the Redskins have taken the early lead. That is Clark, Gary Clark, gaining about 6 yards back near the original line of scrimmage before Frazier and Fencik put the stop on him.
The Bears are doing something very interesting. When they go into their 46, they have a linebacker out there on Didier or Warren all by themselves as a wide receiver. A linebacker trying to cover kind of a speedy tight end. If it's Didier, is a very difficult job, but the Bears do it because they put the blitzes on and they figure that the Redskins don't have time to take advantage of it.
Clark's forward progress got him to the 15, leaving a 3rd and 6. 3 wide receivers for the Skins. Theisman to Clark again, couldn't hold on to the ball as he was hit by Richardson, number 27. Ball a little behind him, and then when Richardson made contact, Clark could not hold on. So Washington will have to punt. And it's not going to be Theisman. It's going to be Jay Schrader, the backup quarterback from UCLA. Now, he is not listed on their pre-deep sheet as the backup punter Theisman is, but it's going to be Schrader. So the injury to Hayes is going to turn out to be a huge factor in this football game.
I'm sure he wants to play in this football game, but not as a punter.
Not standing at his own goal line either. And now the Redskins changing their blocking scheme here on the punt, so that's going to add some more nerves to Schrader. And Schrader kicks a high, short punt, comes down at the 35, is down there and rolls forward to about the 48-yard line, but it'll be brought back to where the Redskins initially made contact with the ball, and that is at the 36-yard line. So Joe Gibbs has got to be wondering how he can possibly make up for this turn of events here. They make up for the loss of Hayes with 7:27 to go in the first half. The Bears leading 21-10 and again have the ball in Washington territory.
There he is talking to Joe Theisman, going over the game plan. It's a little early to change the game plan. They're down 11. That's not insurmountable.
On first down, Suhey to about the 30-yard line. It'll be a gain of nearly 7. Manley and Olkowitz on the tackle. Look at Buddy Ryan, the defensive coordinator of the Bears, organizing things for the next series of plays. It is second and a long 3 for Chicago at the Washington 30-yard line. 2 short punts have given them yet another scoring opportunity. McMahon has got running room to the 10-yard line. First and goal, Chicago. A 20-yard run by McMahon up the middle. Vernon Dean finally put the stop on him.
Well, that's one of his assets, just like Joe Theisman. That time the regular 4-man rush has started to cave in on him there as Darryl Grant was close, but then McMahon just took off down the field. And, of course, his big thing with Mike Ditka is try to hit the turf and don't take punishment. Well, this time he got hit, but no injury as the Bears are pounding on the goal line again at the 10-yard line. This is a key drive. The Redskins will be in big trouble if the Bears score here.
21-10, Chicago lead. Lots of time for McMahon. Now forced out, and he is dropped. Gained about 2 yards as he started upfield toward the goal line. Mann and Kaufman, 71 and 55, buried him at the 10-yard line. It'll turn into about, well, maybe a half-yard gain.
Jim McMahon is the #1 rated quarterback in the NFL this year with a 115 rating, which is astronomical. The one thing he hasn't done that Joe Theisman has is that he hasn't shown durability yet. Theisman has played for 156 straight games, I believe. He never gets hurt, and that's really admirable in the quarterback. McMahon has never finished a season yet.
Second down. 10-yard marker just outside the goal line. McMahon has plenty of time. Now flares off to Suhey. Good defensive reaction by the Redskins as they bury him as soon as he caught the ball. Neil Olkowitz and Mel Kaufman, the linebackers, 52 and 55, combining on the stop. Kaufman having to play in all of the passing downs with the Monty Coleman injury. He's on injured reserve with a hamstring.
Neil Olkowitz is something else, isn't he? He had 16 tackles last week. Plays game in and game out for the Redskins, and goes out on a third down situation. But you talk about trying to run against Olkowitz. He's tough. The Bears have not gotten much yardage on the ground. Not much at all. It's been mostly passing.
Third down and 14 on the loss. Cherry and...
An unbelievable play, and what a catch by Jim McMahon. He gives a little handoff to Payton, who was almost knocked down, stumbled, was going to throw the other way back, and then McMahon shows his receivers how do you do it when you throw, as Walter Payton put it on the dime. He had to stretch out there as the Redskins were fooled, and he does it just like he wants his receivers. What an example to set for your receivers.
Butler will attempt the point after. And so the Bears capitalize again with a little schoolyard razzle-dazzle. And what do they do to celebrate? Well, it's a little odd, but that's what they do. Bang head. Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field, and Johnny, it's hard to believe that the Redskins led in this game 10-0, really dominated on their first two possessions. The touchdown return by Willie Gault, the injury to Jeff Hayes, suddenly 28 Bear points.
That's right. All of a sudden a spark, and the Redskins are in some trouble. And the ironic thing is, normally you try and establish a running game like the Redskins did. The Chicago Bears have not even tried to establish a running game. They've just opened up throwing the ball and playing wide open, and it has really caught the Redskins. So you have to give them a lot of credit there. They were down 10-0, opened up, and look at the last 6 possessions. That pretty much tells the story.
14, 22, and 36-yard lines of Washington. And that has told the tale, as has this young man who is having some fun out here this afternoon. Jim McMahon, the former Brigham Young star, has been injured in each of his NFL seasons. Now in season number 4, and off to a great start. This is Jenkins for the Redskins, tripped up by Jim Morrissey, reserve linebacker number 51 for the Bears, and Washington will start at their own 20-yard line. One thing McMahon is not good at is cutting hair, especially his own. That little effort you're looking at there is by his own artistry, and gratefully he says it's grown out because it looked a lot worse. Well, let's see whether Joe Theisman can rally back the Redskins here, because Theisman got off to a fine start here this afternoon. The Redskins came in confident. They took a 10-0 lead. George Rogers is the running back. He's had 2 long gainers in the game. Pressure on Theisman, runs out of it, and slides in. Short, well short of the first down, but a gain of about 7 yards on the play. Got over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Gary Fencik was there to make sure that Joe didn't get up again.
I'm sure you're aware of the new rule. When the quarterback slides feet first, that means he is automatically down, and you're not supposed to hit him. That can be a tough call, because you never know when the quarterback's going to slide first, especially if you've made your commitment on the tackle.
5-yard gain credited to Theisman. 2nd and 5. Didier, the tight end, comes wide right. They'll show you all kinds of looks for their tight end. Here's Rogers with another big hole. Rogers gets a block and a first down out to the 45-yard line. Singletary, number 50, and Fencik, 45, made the tackle, but a 20-yard gain for Rogers, who's been doing some business out the right side.
Okay, this was a case where they caught Otis Wilson, number 55, again as he came across the line of scrimmage, and the trap man, Russ Grimm, came over and made the block, and that allowed Rogers to cut inside. There's the block on 55 by 68.
Back live the Redskins at their own 45-yard line. Theisman 7 of 11 for 55 yards, make it 8 completions to the tight end Didier. A pickup of about 4 yards with Sean Gale playing for the injured Dave Duerson. Gale, number 23, making the tackle. Gale, a second-year man from Ohio State. Duerson bothered with a groin pull injury. And there's Joe Gibbs trying to figure out what they can do to get some points on the board before the end of this first half with 2:29 to go.
Well, I think they take advantage of the 2:29, go down, nothing spectacular, try and get on the board once before halftime, and they're back in this football game. So there's no big rush right now.
But the word on Jeff Hayes, a torn muscle in his knee, and he will not return. So that's a huge factor. They tried to swing it out there in a screen to Rogers, but it was tipped by the Bears defenders. Mike Hartenstein, number 73, got a big paw up in front of Theisman and deflected the ball away. 3rd down.
You know, that was really a decent play. That would have worked very well. The blocking was set up out in front, and Hartenstein just deflected the ball. Little things mean a lot in all phases of life, right?
That play for Hartenstein, a heartening thing for him, as last week Keys got into his position and got a little more playing time in for the veteran, so he's looking to make some big defensive plays. Remind everybody that he's the starter. Theisman forced from the pocket. He'll have the first down. Gets into Bear territory inside the 45-yard line. 7-yard gain for Theisman.
It's going to be very close because when you slide is where the ball comes down and your body is backwards a ways. So it appeared that he made it very easily, and it's going to be a very close measurement because when he slides, his feet go first, and then where his body hits his back a yard or so.
That's an excellent point since they're going to measure here, Johnny.
In fact, boy, is that close. Let me put my binoculars on and see if I can give you some advance notice. Folks, I would say, boy, it's too close to call. Looks like he might have just made it.
And he did. So it's first down for the Redskins, and they'll spot it at the 46-yard line. We have the 2-minute warning sounded here at Soldier Field. The Bears 28, Washington 10. And Ryan with Johnny on CBS Sports. Many of you will see the Michigan State Spartans take on 3rd-ranked Iowa. And some of you will see a Pac-10 battle between Arizona State and UCLA. College football next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Pacific, here on CBS Sports. Redskins with a first down on the run up the middle by Theisman. 2 minutes to play, first half. Keith Griffin, number 35, hit by Wilbur Marshall after a gain of about 3 yards. Good reaction by Marshall, the second-year man from Florida. The Bears' #1 choice a year ago. Did not see a whole lot of action in his rookie season with Al Harris and, of course, Todd Bell still holdouts from that #1 ranked defense a year ago. Marshall has stepped in and seems to be getting stronger each game in the opinion of his coaches. 2nd down, a 2-yard gain officially. It'll be 2nd and 8. And there are some revealing statistics about what's happened here in the first half. Play action. Didier can't make the grab. A little overthrown for Clint Didier down the sideline. Redskins will use those tight ends, particularly Didier, as good speed, almost as wide receivers, and that was a sample of it there.
That was a time where they had Otis Wilson on him, but they brought Fencik over to help on the double coverage. So here comes a big play for the Redskins, 3rd down and 8, as Gary Clark comes back in the game. Of course, Ken Huff is staying in there at the guard spot with Tillman hurt. Number 61, Ken Huff, was drafted before Walter Payton back in 1975.
Theisman 9 out of 15 now, just 62 yards here in this first half. On 3rd down, A big play for the Redskins in this game. 2 extra backs in for the Bears, and the pass is down. The pressure on Theisman, moves smoothly away from it. Now dumps it off short to Didier, and he will be short of the first down by about a yard, maybe a little less. Fencik making the tackle on Clint Didier. 1:33 remains first half. And Joe Gibbs telling his team on the field to take the timeout.
So it's going to be 4th down and about 6 inches as Theisman did a good job of ad-libbing. The Bears put the blitz on that time. He was able to get out of it, couldn't decide whether to run or to pass the ball, as Didier seems to have hurt his foot a little bit.
Well, after their 10-0 lead, things have just been a nightmare here for the Redskins, sparked by the kickoff return by Willie Gault, and on that play, what may be the key happening of the whole day, the one play, because of the touchdown produced by Gault that closed it to 10-7, and the kickoff man and punter, Jeff Hayes, getting hurt on the play. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Brandon Irv in our New York studios will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights from around the league. And Tom Brookshire will have a special report on the NFL instant replay issue. Is the judgment call good enough? And I bet Tom's got an opinion. We'll hear it at halftime.
Well, I think the decision is on this 4th down play. They've got to get the first down, and it's only just a few inches. Usually a quarterback, even if the quarterback sneak fails, will get you 6 inches if you just fall forward. Sometimes as you risk the handoff, you can get somebody knifing through, and the back won't get started. So I would say percentages say go with the quarterback sneak and get that first down.
3 tight ends in on 4th and short here. They had a little muscle up front. Bears with an 11-1 record when they take that lead into the locker room. And this is going to be close.
I think you got it. They hit Riggins behind the line of scrimmage, but I believe he might have fallen forward enough for the first down.
Hampton made the initial contact, but he is now slow to get up in the Redskins backfield, limping back to the line of scrimmage, number 99, as we wait for the official measurement.
Boy, you talk about close measurements. This will be closer than the one we had last time.
There's Hampton. Of course, he's coming off the knee surgery and hasn't been really 100% through the first 3 weeks of the season. Big measurement here, obviously. And it is just short. Twice now, the Bears have stopped the Redskins on 4th and less than a yard. So with 1:09 remaining first half, the Bears will have the football again, and they hold the lead 28-10. 2 touchdown passes by McMahon, one from Payton to McMahon, and one that you could have drawn up in the dirt at the schoolyard.
Well, you run it back from 6 yards back and you run him off tackle on a slant, somebody's liable to knife through, and that's exactly what happened to knock Riggins down. He fell forward, but he wasn't able to hit that line with the power that he wanted. And that's the chance you take when you run it that way.
First down, they come out in the shotgun here. It'll be the 109 drill for the Chicago Bears. Man off for Payton, 2 blockers in front of him. And good defensive work by Darrell Green, number 28, to make the tackle on Payton. The gain will be about 7 yards.
It certainly was a good play by Darrell Green. Boy, he had 2 linemen in front of him, and they hit him. He bounced off the hits and still made the tackle as the Bears were in a hurry up.
2nd and 2, under 45 seconds we go. Slot formation right out of the shotgun. Off to Suhey this time, and McKinnon gives him a block. Suhey picks up an extra couple of yards out of bounds near the midfield stripe. 34 seconds remaining. Rich Malott, the man to knock him out, number 57.
Well, Darrell Green really has been banged around here and still made the plays. This Matt Suhey was the safety valve. He's number 26, and you'll see Darrell Green is out there. He gets a block from Dennis McKinnon, hits Green. There he is. Down he goes, but he's still there forcing, getting up and getting in on the tackle. Darrell Green is playing really a good football game. It's kind of hidden sometimes when you're losing 28-10.
5'8", 170-pounder, the number 1 choice. And as the expression goes, he is a blue chipper. First down, McMahon from midfield. Deep, complete. Ken Marjoram, number 82, first down at the 30-yard line, 27 seconds on the clock. Timeout called by the Bears. Curtis Jordan and rookie Barry Wilburn, 22 and 45, made the tackle.
You're going to see Curtis Jordan. He's number 22 at the top of your screen. His margin gets by the first man is Wilburn. He's actually could have gone straight down the field, but he cuts across. Wilburn on the tackle, and here comes Jordan. And this is real close on a late hit right here, folks. There was no penalty called. So there, you see the Bears organizing for the next series of plays with 27 seconds remaining first half. And the disaster that has struck Washington here in this first half after a calm 10-0 lead. As I said earlier when I was at practice in Washington on Thursday, they were very calm, very well prepared. And the way they started out in this game, it looked like that they were ready for the Bears offense. Their defense played superbly on the first two series. They marched the ball down the field in old Washington style. And I think that those people who feared that maybe Theisman was losing something at this stage of his career, 36 years of age, really threw the ball so well in practice that there would not appear to be any concern. And Joe Gibbs, when I asked him about it, he said, hey, his arm is as strong as it was a year ago. There's no worry about his ability or his leadership. However, bad things have happened here. Nightmarish things have happened. Gault's 99-yard kickoff return, the injury to punter Jeff Hayes have really turned this game around in favor of Chicago. McMahon. That is almost intercepted. Intended for McKinnon. The ball was short, and it was Vernon Dean, number 32, who nearly had a chance at the pickoff. I think what happened was he lost his footing just as he was going to make the interception. You see McKinnon down and out. And here comes Vernon Dean. And that would have stopped the Bear drive had he hung on to that ball. And it squirted loose, so the Chicago Bears have 21 seconds as Vernon Dean comes up with a key play. Good coverage by Dean.
But again, not the turnover. And that's something that's been a big problem.
That's right.
They're minus 10 in turnovers. Only one interception until today. Jordan picked up the second of the season. Out of the shotgun, McMahon. Downfield, he's got McKinnon open. McKinnon makes the catch. The tackle by Dean, number 32, 12 seconds to play, and the Bears threaten again inside the 20 at the 17. Another timeout called by Chicago.
Dennis McKinnon is now the leading receiver in the National Football League for yardage-wise. Okay, we're going to get a look at Dennis McKinnon. He is number 85. Goes down the field. They have inside-outside coverage. He takes the jam from Vernon Dean, takes another jam, and then just finds the hole. And that is his biggest capability, is always to find the right spot, and then makes a super catch. He's an undrafted football player, too. You know, the amazing thing about this football game is the Redskins obviously are prepared to stop Walter Payton. How many yards does Payton have? We have to check that out. How many rushing yards does Walter Payton have? Not very many. And that is the changing face of the Chicago Bears, which the Redskins are learning, the Minnesota Vikings are learning, is that they can strike you in different ways. It used to be just Walter Payton's rushing.
So the Bears will be first down at the 16-yard line. And the answer to your question for Walter Payton is
3 carries for minus 3 yards. That's the amazing stat in this football game.
Out to the right goes Marjoram. Out to the left goes Gault. 12 seconds to play. Little early movement brings a flag. McMahon, incomplete. Miscue there on the pattern between McMahon and Gault, the apparent intended receiver, number 83. Charles Mann had the early charge. Let's see if he was drawn over. The referee, Bob Frederick, will sort things out with his staff.
Defense, number 71, offside. First down, will be repeated.
And it was Charles Mann.
He's at your lower left-hand corner, 71 in the white jersey. Just watch the movement there. And he did it on his own. Didn't seem to be any movement on the Bear offense. They're going to go for the field goal now.
So onto the field, Kevin Butler, the rookie from Georgia, their 4th pick this year. Beating out Bob Thomas, the veteran, turned up in San Diego. But Butler is 7 for 11 and leads the NFC in points coming into this game with 31. Steve Fuller will hold, and the ball is spotted at the 19-yard line. 29-yard try for Butler right in front of the goal post, and he is good. So the Chicago Bears, with 4 seconds remaining in this first half of play, officially a 28-yard field goal for Kevin Butler, have opened a 31-10 lead over the Redskins. And if you joined us late along the way, Washington led in this game, and impressively so, 10-0 into the early part of the second period. An incredible turnaround, 31 consecutive points by the Chicago Bears. And it will require some heroics by Theisman and company in the second half to get themselves back into this one.
And I'm sure Joe Gibbs, as you saw over there discussing the situation, realizes that they have a very difficult situation because the Bears